Yeah, I am back. This is the last session. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to finish my third session in a given time, 30 minutes, not over 30 minutes. Okay. So please believe me. Okay. But we have so many things to go over. The third session is for the introduction of Korean SMEs major policies and what is the implication of the Korean development. Okay. Let me start with the major policies first. In this third session, I'm going to explain seven functional the policies, startup policies, and financial support policies, and R&D policy, and domestic marketing, and then export and microfirm supporting policies, and HLD, and regulation reduction. And lastly, I'm going to share with you the implication. Okay. Okay, let us start with startup policy. The first column explains the categories of the startup policies. First, entrepreneurship education, and then secondly, tech incubator program of startups. Thirdly, BI, business incubator, and lastly, Center for Creative Economy and Innovation. Okay, let me briefly explain this main policy at the very last column. Okay, Startup Academy. Startup Academy means someone who tried to make his own business, or especially for the technology, or very high technology oriented startups, enter the academy, and then they are educated how they make their business plan, how they make their own idea to the business. So business planning and commercialization of idea and R&D result, and also acceleration. Acceleration, as I told you already, acceleration means startup can have the help or service from the accelerator by quickly their business prospering. Acceleration. And secondly, this is a very unique program. Korean MSS has technology incubator program of Startup Korea. We called it TIPS. Oh, I forgot to mention about the implementation agency, KISET. KISET is Korea Institute of Startup and Entrepreneurship Development, which is under MSS, Ministry of SMEs and Startups. This KISET implement this Startup Academy and commercialization of idea and R&D for consulting, and they have the acceleration program too. And Tech Incubator Program of Startup Korea, KISET, also this one is done by KISET. They are nurturing high-tech startup. And how they select or choose the high-tech startups to be serviced by MSS or KISET. How they choose, how they select. The way of selecting is matching fund provided for startups with investment from private sector, which means government or the this KISET doesn't know whether this technology is very promising or not. As a personnel in the public sector, they don't know, they cannot evaluate all the technology in the world. So but they need some kind of verification. Is this technology is really good? So the Korean government, the MSS found the way to verify, is this a good technology or not? The way is, all right, government said to startup, okay, show me you got the investment from the private sector. Okay. If you receive some investment, such amount of investment from the private sector, then I'm going to match the investment which private sector make. Okay, that means matching fund provided by for startups with investment from private sector. So then, okay, private sector is very accurate. The competition in the private sector is very competitive. The fierce. So if private sector made some investment, which means this technology or this firm or this entrepreneur is very promising. That's kind of verification. So government puts some money on that project. So Tech Incubate program of Startup Korea is very unique program. And maybe if you would like to know more about this program, any program, you can contact KISSET, the implementation agency, or you can contact to me for the reference of the KISSET or other institutions. So that's the reason why I'm the implementation agency is the name of the implementation agency is provided here. So whenever you have a question about the more precise information, if you need more precise information, then you can contact with me, or you can contact with me. I'm going to give you my email address, so you can contact with me, and then I'm going to introduce you to the all the implementation agency under MSS. All right. As you know, BI is the Korea Business Incubation Associate. BI, you know what it's been. I'm going to briefly go over the description. Space and common facility provided. Okay, and then also consulting is provided. Center for Creative Economy and Innovation, CCEI. This agency is also performing a very important role in the nurturing startups in Korea. So they do startup commercialization fund. They operate startup commercialization fund, and also they have startup academia, and they support R&D, and also even they give some kind of help for the startup experts. Okay, this is the startup policy of Korea. And then nextly, let's go over to the financial support. The most difficult thing the SMEs have to get over is the financial barrier. As I told you earlier, no bank would not like to make a loan to SMEs, because they do not have much collateral, they do not have much credit. So Korean government and other countries' government provide some kind of Polish fund, which is loans with conditions beneficial in terms of low interest and redemption period. Longer term is given in the Polish fund, and that fund is used for facility investment, and that can be used as operation cost, and they also used for the startups, okay, and also micro funds. And this kind of Polish fund is managed by COSME, Korea SMEs and Startup Agency. This is very big agency. They have the branch all over the country. Even they have the branch in the other countries. And also Industrial Bank of Korea help the SMEs in the sector. And also credit guarantee. We have the credit guarantee system. You know what is the credit guarantee system? Because the SMEs doesn't have the credit, so the government agency provide some guarantee for SMEs to make a loan from the bank. Okay, that's the guarantee for SMEs with insufficient credit or collateral, which is operated by CODIT, which is and also Korean Federation of Credit Guarantee Fund. These are the two different kind of implementation agency. CODIT is more general SMEs, and Korea Credit Federation of Credit Guarantee Foundation is much more focused on the very micro funds. This COREC are focusing on the loan for micro firms, very small firms. Okay. And technology guarantee. I don't know whether you have heard about the technology guarantee. This is a very unique program, unique tool Korea has. What is technology guarantee? Think about it. Which is guarantee for SMEs with technology, but insufficient credit or collateral. One company has very good or excellent, outstanding technology, but they do not have any funding source to make that technology as a business model. They don't know how to. They don't have any fund to commercialize their technology. So in that case, technology guarantee comes in. Okay, so how it works is technology is evaluated in the valuation of technology system. This COTEC, Korea Technology Finance Corporation, they do have their own tools to evaluate technology. Technology is very much intangible ones. They try to make that intangible technology to be measurable in terms of money. So under the evaluation or valuation of the technology, they offer some technology credit guarantee to SMEs. Okay, so this is Korea Technology Finance Corporation is very unique one in Korea. So if you'd like to have question, raise, email me. Okay. Then let us go over third one, R&D. Okay. R&D, the support for R&D categorized into four, sections. Just R&D, research and development, and then smart factory supporting program, and also Then thirdly, research equipment sharing program and IP protection. IP protection is getting more and more important and more important. Okay, let me briefly explain the R&D program. R&D support fund is needed, money is needed for the research and development. Okay, so fund is provided, and also the government support the human capital in terms of they give some if it R&D to get for one SMEs to get the R&D support, it is very competitive. For example, Korean government make a public announcement. Okay, we are looking for SMEs who would like to participate in R&D program in such a field, in that specific field, like if it can be the very core technology, or it can be the just applied technology, or it can be the processing improvement technology. Anyhow, the Korean government announced we need this kind of technology. Someone who would like to develop this thing, you can apply. Then so many research institutions and so many SMEs apply for that project. Okay, the funding is limited. Such amount of money is given to the SMEs under this condition. You can purchase some equipment. You can use this amount of money for the labor cost or human capital. It's all that the R&D fund, R&D support, amount of R&D support is categorized. You have to, as an SME, you have to follow that instruction from the government. So R&D support is very competitive. And also triple helix model, industry, academia, research institute, because the SMEs does not have their own researcher. They don't have their own laboratory. So they can, the SMEs request to academia, university, or research institute. I needed this kind of technology. Could you please develop the technology for me? Kind of that cooperation among the industry, academia, and research institute, and also commercialization of R&D result. Okay, SME, you developed some technology, but there is some, after you succeed in developing technology, as I told you already, commercialization process is waiting for you, and also production process. So for the commercialization, the government provides some policy fund to them or some kind of grant. Okay, and also technology transfer. One research institute develops one technology that can be transferred to the SMEs by such amount of money, very appropriate amount of money. Okay, that kind of technology transfer is performed, and route to industry is very important one. That we call this is the very foundation of manufacturing industry. For example, forgery and die casting and surface treatment, all that kind of the root industry, foundation of the manufacturing, should be developed. Okay, so we have I think this route industry is very important to developing countries. You have to develop route industry in your country. How to? Please email me. Okay, these kind of program is done by TIPA and KTPA and AURI. TIPA is the major agency for the R&D, Korea Technology and Information Promotion Agency for SMEs, and also TP, Technology Park, and KTPA, Korea Technology Promotion Association. These are the association of TPs in Korea, and AURI, Korea Association of University, Research, Institute, and Industry. So triple helix model is operated by AURI. And also next one is smart factory, automation and on-time production and process improvement. All those kind of things is related to smart factory. So smart solution for production process and product design. It is provided by government by some selection process, and smart production information system kind of thing, information system. It is done by TIPA and TP. And research equipment sharing, because SMEs cannot afford all the equipment they need. So TIPA and TP provides the common facility, common use of the research equipment. So equipment sharing program, common facility, and making and testing of a prototype. Okay, that is done by the sharing the equipment in TIPA and TP. And IP protection. IP protection means intellectual property should be protected. If I develop a very unique technology, that one should be protected. How? I don't know how to protect it. Then government comes in, preventing a technology leak. There is some kind of program preventing a technology leak and capacity building for IP protection. There is some education, and TIPA provides some program, or software program to protect it. And also some SMEs lose their technology, then the legal service from the government is given. Okay, so these are the R&D program, and please remember the TIPA, and you'd better to remember TIPA and Korean TPs and KTPA, and also AURI for the triple helix cooperation program. Okay. Now let us go over to the next one, domestic marketing. Okay, for the marketing is the most difficult mountain, 3,000 meters. The most difficult mountain, most difficult obstacles to overcome. Okay, so there are so many kind of policies for SMEs products selling. Okay, public procurement. As I told you earlier, there is a program called preferential purchase for SME products in various ways. Government, every ministry and every institution under government in the public sector needs some goods and services, right? Government set aside some items or some products or some services for SMEs products or service only, exclusively. Some goods or some service set aside exclusively for SME products. Okay, that is the preferential, one kind of preferential purchase for SME products. So, for example, preferential purchase of new products with new technology. Okay. Government promise. Okay, if you succeed in developing this technology, and also if you succeed, so if you can make some product or service with that new technology, then we will buy it. We will purchase your product or service from you. It's kind of promise government make. Okay, so preferential purchase new product with new technology, and also exclusive purchase of designated products. Okay, that's what I told earlier. There are so many kinds of preferential treatment for SME products and services. So public procurement is one of the main policy Korean government has. Secondly, the home shopping channel. Korean government have the home shopping channel exclusively for the SMEs. So exclusive TV channel for SME products only. And online and offline O2O market for SME products only. So these are given by the KBS, Korea Federation of SMEs, and also KOSME, Korea SMEs and Startup Agencies. They operate this kind of program. And also consulting. Consulting means business health checkup. What is the business health checkup and consulting? Okay, SMEs has a trouble, but they cannot analyze what kind of problem I have. Then KOSME dispatch one consultant to SMEs. All right, let us diagnose your disease. Okay, like health check. Then he check the operation, and he can check the process of the production, and also he can check the human capital management and all other things he can check up. And then that consultant pinpoint, all right, you have this kind of problem, you have some kind of financial problem, or you have some problem in human resource management. Then to fix it, you need this kind of measure, right? That is the business health checkup and consulting. And also, I told you already, business district analysis for small firms, micro firms. When I open the restaurant or retail store on the corner of some street, okay, is it going to be successful or not? All right. Then the consultant is going to measure how many person is going around, gathering, and those kind of things analyzed and provide some consulting. And teaching and training for business strategy. Also traditional market. Traditional market is done by SMEs, Small Enterprise and Market Service, which is very much specialized on micro firms and traditional market. Revitalization of traditional market. So they build parking lot, and also mostly in the traditional market, they do not have a roof. So they provide roof, and also they give some very nice and good and excellent sign, and construction of road and consulting display. Display, how to display to make attraction to the customer. All right, that kind of consulting and help is given by SMEs. And you can see MSS, Ministry of SMEs and Startups, is public procurement. They do it by themselves, by itself. And KBs, COSME, SEMAS, and SEMAS. Okay, then fifth one, export. Export program is package program for export and export incubator, electronic commerce, and trade insurance. All right. Most of them are consulting, and also catalog and pamphlet. You can make electronic pamphlet or catalog by help from the government, which is done by COSME, Korea's SMEs and Startup Agencies, and KOTRA. You know, I think you know KOTRA. KOTRA has more than almost 200 branch office all over the world. So maybe you are familiar with KOTRA, Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency. They provide bio information because the SMEs does not have any overseas information. They always update the market information. And also, there are lots of exhibition and trade show. Government help, matching fund. Okay, you SMEs pay half of the participation fee. Okay, then government is going to take the rest of them, kind of thing. Okay. And then export incubator, which is done by COSME and also KOTRA, same institutions. Okay, some SMEs would like to make a branch office to Bangkok or Islamabad or other city. Then, but they cannot afford to establish their own branch there. So they just dispatch one person to the export incubator operated by COSME or KOTRA. Here they can share the office, they can share secretary, they can share some kind of equipment. So share office and market information is provided. And also electronic commerce is done by COSME. Homepage, online catalog in foreign language is made. And online advertisement is also given. And access to major online shopping mall like Amazon and Alibaba. Government, this COSME help to enter to the Amazon or Alibaba, major online shopping mall. And trade insurance, K-Sure, Korea Trade Insurance for export, LC. So we don't have the trust. I don't know who is going to buy my products abroad. So in that case, we need insurance. So K-Sure, Korea Trade Insurance provides the insurance for the LC. All right, let's move to the microfirm supporting policies. These are already explained before because these duplicated, Financial support, policy fund, and credit guarantee. Correct, I already explained, issuing gift certificate exclusively to be used for microfirms. Government issue some gift certificate exclusively used for microfirms, which is done by SEMAS and Correct. And also marketing, traditional market revitalization and commercial districts analysis and online market And education and consulting. That is the most important part for the micro firms, which is done by SMEs, educating small entrepreneur, how to display it, how to manage your micro firms, how to, give some service to the consumer. All right, these microfirm supporting policies, which is done by SMEs, correct, mostly. Now let's move to the HR, human resource and regulation reduction. I mentioned a little bit about the regulation reduction. Okay, then now let me go to the human resource development, vocational training, and influx of youth into SMEs. Okay. Contract agreement for SMEs and tailored employees between MSS and university. So what that means is MSS, Ministry of SMEs and Startups, make a contract with university. Okay. Some SMEs need this kind of people equipped with some technology. Okay, so you make the department majoring in that technology. Then after graduation, that person who is educated in that program go to the SME. And also vocational high school for SMEs, demand-oriented human resource. This is very similar kind of thing, but this is for university and this is for vocational high school. And there are also so many kind of vocational training is provided, and training youth employees, and CEO education. CEO's change of thinking is the most important thing for the success of the SMEs. So CEO education is always done in several universities and KBs, Korea Federation of SMEs. And then SMEs regulatory impact test. This is, the KOSB, Korea Small Business Institute, have the function of the SMEs regulatory impact test. Okay, if one ministry try to make one regulation, new regulation, then that regulation should be tested by KOSB. How much of impact is take place in SMEs? We calculate monetary base. SMEs impact test of new and renewed regulation of all ministries. So we try to minimize the number of regulation government ministries try to make. That's the one way of minimizing the regulations. Okay. All right. This is the brief description of the main policy in every sector and also implementing agencies. So you can see how the Korean, at the second session, I explained to you idea and R&D, commercialization, production, and marketing. And there are some in the rectangle. You see the major policies. Here in third session, I took the major policies under finance, major policies under marketing, major policies under technology, and major policies regulation reduction and marketing, exporting. And you can find the implementing agencies for each program. So maybe I'd like to, for you guys to understand big picture and also the programs in detail. All right. So Let me summing up, wrapping up my sharing of knowledge with these implications. First, this is the core of my lecture. Please focus on what I'm trying to say. Why don't you read the page slide? First, strategy you choose what you take is very important. Are you going to follow developed country model, or are you going to follow newly developed country model like Korea, Taiwan, Singapore? In my opinion, in my personal opinion, you'd better to follow newly developed country model. Why? Developed country model always mostly emphasize the anti-corruption, technology development. But it is very hard to fight against corruption in the developing world. So when the country getting more and more developed and growing, the anti-corruption or other things follow by itself, I think. So newly developed country model emphasize motivation of the people and cheap labor. You'd better to use how to use our cheap labor. To use cheap labor, light industry, you'd better to start with light industry, and then you can accumulate some technology, low-tech, mid-tech technology in the light industry, and then foundation of manufacturing emphasized. As I told you, root industry is very important, and also idea and technology. And as I told you at the first session, human capital, Korea doesn't have just cheap labor. But by educating cheap labor and workers, we nurture some skilled labor and high technology, human resource eventually. So entrepreneurship and also good offshore institutional framework is very important, and also technician. You'd better to nurture your technician by making a lot of vocational high school and establishing a framework of SME supporting policy. I recommend you make long plan, phase by phase. By phase, you make a plan very in detail. If you want some advice or consulting for the making development plan of SMEs, then you can consult with us. And also well-designed development plan. This is SME policy design, and this is all other sectors development included. And then fifthly, entrepreneurship and startup. Startup and entrepreneurship. There are lots of things I'd like to talk to you, but I'm out of time. So next time, if I have a chance to talk with you, I'm going to explain again. And then utilization of FDI for development of local SMEs. Okay. FDI, foreign direct investment, is very important. You cannot grow by yourself. You have to make some interaction with outside world. The most efficient and effective way of interact with other country is attracting of FDI. If you attract FDI, then there is some spillover effect. Someone who is hired in that multinational company can learn something, technology and management skill and all other things. Then you can make your own SMEs there. And also vocational education and training and export orientation. This is very much important thing. Open your world. Okay, interaction with other countries, the most important thing, I think. And what I'd like to emphasize is the firm SMEs rather than government. Private, even though I'm just talking about the policy, SME supporting policy, even though there are very excellent, outstanding SME policies, if there is no firms are not performing well, then nothing left. So I'd like to emphasize private is always bigger than public. So try to build the entrepreneurship and startups. I think that's the best way you can do, and those 8 things are the things you'd better to remember for utilization of my lecture for the future use. All right, I prepare another quiz. You can easily fill in the blank. Please fill in the blank with the reference of the slides. All right, thank you very much again. It's my pleasure for me to share with you guys about the things I know very well. So anytime you can contact with me. My email address is going to be provided. So thank you very much. Farewell.